I'm going to tell you a story about a girl who has some half-breed pride with a little glass dish of seal oil on the side. She grew up in the village wondering why her skin was a little more white and why they called her Gasayarak before growing up a little more and finding out it meant little white child. Despite her lighter skin tones, this little half-breed girl felt exactly at home in the canvas tent walls where 3 generations lay sprawled, dreaming of the gifts of spring camp and the stories and dice by Coleman lamp. Those canvas tent dreams and Kuskokwim memories that shaped me emerged from my Yupik family, who I'm not related to biologically. They stepped into my life and showed me that blood may be thicker than water, but you know what? It's the water that sustains me. Fast forward a few years later, I'm soaking in my UAF class and the professor asks me, "What are you? Yupik? Chupik? You can't be both and you need to decide." Well, I've got an answer for you, Professor, and it's already written in the most sacred spaces of my life. I've got a whole lot of Chupik pride from my Kasunak side and tundra dreams that coincide with the coastal stories and traditional knowledge that my grandparents lived for generations to instill in our lives. Excuse me, Professor, but that is my Chupik side. And my Yupik family, who I'm not related to biologically, they stepped into my life in a vulnerable time when no one else was there to protect that broken and forgotten little half-breed child. They plucked me from my foster home to foster home, OCS, DFYS governed life, and placed my sister and I in the sweet confines of a safe home, scented with fish camp smoke and decorated with my grandfather's homemade wooden boat, weaving through the narrow creeks to the spring camp canvas tent I still call home. Excuse me, Professor, but that is my Yupik side. Excuse me, Professor, you don't know my ancestors. Ya 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 anga. Excuse me, Professor, my identity's my culture. Ya ya anga. Ya ya And what about the Gasayarak, that white part of me, and how does it weave into my identity? Well, it was 1991 when the rest of my dreams came true, and the Gasak father, who I never knew, flew his Cessna 170 into my life and introduced my sister and I to our outskirts of St. Paul, Minnesota, suburban Lutheran church going Norwegian side, don't you know? What a beautiful family suddenly woven into me to successfully complete what it means to be a girl in the world who happens to have some half-breed pride with a little glass dish of seal oil on the side. Excuse me, Professor, but that is me.